All right. Visit of the Magi, slaughter of the children. Protevangelion, chapter 21. And Joseph was preparing to go away, for there was a great commotion in Bethlehem by the coming of wise men from the east, saying, Where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east and are come to worship him. When Herod heard this, he was exceedingly troubled, and having sent messengers to the wise men and the priests, he inquired of them in the Patrium, saying to them, Where is it written among you of Christ the King that he should be born? Then they say unto him, In Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written, And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judea, art not the least among the princes of Judah. For out of thee shall come a governor who shall rule my people Israel. And having sent away the chief priests, he inquired of the wise men in the Patrium, and said unto them, What sign was it ye saw concerning the king that is born? They answered, We saw an extraordinarily large star shining among the stars of heaven, and it so outshined all the other stars that they became not visible. And we know that a great king has come in Israel, and therefore have come to worship him. And said Herod to them, Go and make diligent inquiry, and if ye find him, bring me word again, that I may come and worship him also. So the wise men went forth, and behold, the star which they saw in the east went before them, till it came and stood over the cave where the young child was, with Mary his mother. Then they brought forth out of their treasures, and offered unto him gold and frankincense and myrrh. And being warned in a dream by an angel that they should not return to Herod through Judas, they departed into their own country another way. Chapter 2, 22. Then Herod, when he perceived that he was mocked by the wise men, being very angry, sent murderers, commanding them to slay all the children from 2 years and under. Matthew 2. Now, when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and are come to worship him. When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where Christ should be born. And they said unto him, In Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet, And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judea, art not the least among the priestess of Judea, for out of thee shall come a governor who shall rule my people Israel. Then Herod, when he had privately called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem, and said, Go and search diligently for the young child, and when ye have found him, bring me word again, that I may come and worship him also. When they had heard the king, they departed, and lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them, till it came and stood over where the young child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. And when they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh. And being warned of God in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country another way. The warning of Joseph and the flight to Egypt, not in the Protevangelion. They are, however, in the gospel of the infancy. Then Herod, when he saw he was mocked by the wise men, was exceeding wroth, and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem and in all the coast thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men. Then was fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremy the prophet, saying, In Ramah there was a voice heard, lamentation and weeping, and great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children, and would not be comforted, because they are not. Here is another prophecy not alluded to in the Protevangelion. In this case, as in the other, it is only necessary to read the prophecy in its connection with the context in order to determine whether its application here is legitimate. In the 30th and 31st chapters of Jeremiah, the prophet predicts the return of the children of Israel from their captivity. The revelation was, it appears, communicated to him in a dream, for in the 26th verse of the 31st chapter, he says, "Upon this I awaked, and behold, and my sleep was sweet unto me." The 30th chapter commences thus: "The word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord, saying," verse 3, "For lo, the days are come, saith the Lord, that I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel and Judah, saith the Lord, and I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it. For thus saith the Lord, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace." That was verse 5. Verse 10, "And Jacob shall return, and shall be in rest, and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid." Verse 18, "Thus saith the Lord, behold, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tents," etc. Verse 20, "Their children also shall be as Ephraim," etc. Chapter 31, verse 8, "Behold, I will bring them from the north country," etc. Verse 9, "They shall come with weeping," etc. Then, soon after, with nothing intervening to change the subject matter, comes the following. Verse 15, "Thus saith the Lord, a voice was heard in Ramah, lamentation and bitter weeping. Rachel, weeping for her children, refused to be comforted for her children because they were not." Verse 16, "Thus saith the Lord, refrain thy voice from weeping, and thine eyes from tears, and thy work shall be rewarded, saith the Lord, and they shall come again from the land of the enemy." Verse 17, "And there is hope in thine end, saith the Lord, that thy children shall come again to their own border." It need no argument or construction to show that the children of Israel are the children referred to in this chapter, and that it had no more reference to the infant children of Bethlehem to be slain by Herod than it had to the children of Chicago. It is only by applying a principle known to theologians as accommodation that any such application of the language can be made. But by the method of accommodation, any conceivable proposition can be proved from any chapter of the Bible. The reference to the prophecy of Micah, "And thou Bethlehem," etc., is only in some copies of the Protovangelion. It is not in the ante-Nicene version, and was probably an interpolation. From the subsequent verses of the 5th chapter of Micah, it appears that the prophecy related to a ruler of Israel who should be able to cope successfully with the king of Assyria. If the prophecy related to Christ, then it was necessary that he should be born in the village of Bethlehem. But all the copies of the Protovangelion represent that he was born in a cave 3 miles from Bethlehem. So it is related in the gospel of the infancy that Jesus was born in a cave before his parents reached Bethlehem, though the distance is not stated. But Bethlehem being comparatively a small village, the prophecy would not thus be fulfilled. For out of thee shall come, etc. Hence the probability that the reference to the prophecy in some copies of the Protovangelion is an interpolation. Hence also the necessity that in Matthew, where the verses relating to the prophecy stand on the same footing with the rest, Jesus should be born in the very village of Bethlehem. If Matthew was first written and was known to the authors of the other Gospels, it is strange that they should have Jesus born outside of Bethlehem at the risk of disconnecting the event from the prophecy. The authors of those Gospels were disposed neither to deny the messiahship of Jesus nor to deprive him of the benefit of any of the Jewish prophecies. For the reasons given, and because in the Protovangelion all the circumstances are simply and naturally related in their connection as portions of a longer story, we conclude the Protovangelion was first written.